Wait.
Here we go. Coaches coaching. My favorite part of the week. We're here. So here is what we have got today. We got some special stuff for you. Thane and Nick, and I think Jesse, and you can tell me, Thane, who else I'm missing? Jamaica. I think there's a few others. Went to a certification called FRC. I'm going to share a little document here. FRC, they went a couple weeks ago. And what does it stand for again? Functional range conditioning. Did I say that right? Thing?
Yep, that is correct.
Perfect. So functional range conditioning. So, as we've talked about, we're continuing to learn, continuing to grow, continuing to get better. And so this was, there was a lot more to it than this. But essentially, Thane's going to share with us some of the stuff that they learned from that certification. And, we're going to just continue to do our research on it. But so far, it's been great stuff. But essentially, I'll start with this doc here that, FRC is talking about the difference between mobility and flexibility, right? So essentially what they're saying is flexibility is if I were to take my finger, okay, and use my other finger to push it, I can get quite a bit of range of motion doing that, right? But it's a passive movement on my left hand, right? I have to have this hand to press it. That's what flexibility is. Right. So essentially it means nothing. Right. Because I don't have any control at that range. Right. And so what FRC is essentially saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Thane, but essentially what FRC is saying is getting that flexibility, but being able to have the mobility, to be able to have the control, to be able to actually get the range of motion that you're looking for. Is that an accurate statement?
Yep, that's perfect.
Great. So essentially, in this programming, they have what are called CARs, okay, controlled articular rotations, and that's essentially what Thane is going to show us today. Is some of these CARs, as you can see, it's active rotational movements at the outer limits of articular motion. So I guess, let me ask you, Thane, when they explained to you what CARs was, what in your words was the definition of CARs?
It's moving your joints in the range of motions that they're meant to be in. So it's going to prevent injury. So just a lot of shoulder health, hips, and we'll go over some things, but it's just really making your joints more healthy. So,
and maybe give them the example of the guy, I can't remember his name, Dr. Spiro, and his ACL surgery. This is a pretty interesting thing.
Yeah, so Dr. Sapina, who's the one that started the FRC, actually had ACL surgery, and within 3 weeks he was doing body weight squats just by doing his CARs every morning and actually telling the joints where it's supposed to be out in space and actually making it really healthy. So it's good stuff. It's just building upon all the stuff we already know, but kind of dives into it a little bit more. So it's really interesting and a good certification to have.
Yeah. So I'm going to show the screen one more time real quick before he starts going into some of these and showing some of them. But once again, this is something to look at. It's something that we've seen and found beneficial so far. And so he's going to go through some of these CAR movements. And so, once again, this is building upon what we're currently doing, but it's not necessarily, we're not quite there yet, but it's something that we need to start to work towards. Okay, so with that being said, Thane, why don't you go start with the neck and kind of go
my
from
lovely
and so the first one you've got is the neck.
There's Maddie.
Okay.
You good?
Hi,
Yeah.
Maddie.
Hi.
Not in the light. How's the lighting? Does my hair look okay today?
It's great. Your hair looks wonderful. Did you put gel? Is that a gel or a mousse?
It's actually baby lotion.
Baby lotion. Okay, that seems about right. All right. So, cars, neck. Let's see it.
Okay. So on our neck, it's pretty simple. All we're thinking is my head or my chin goes to my chest. My whole body's staying still. And I'm just going to rotate to the left. And then we go back, reverse it, and come down. Pretty simple. A lot of stuff, people have impingements in the neck. I wouldn't suggest doing that with your clients if you have that. If you don't know how to.
So on it, it says morning and night. So how many times are you doing that rotation? 3, 4, 5 times, or like 30 times?
No, so you just do one full rotation. So I'll go down and go to the left. And then they say rewind it. And you're going to do everything about twice, 2 times. So they just say for good joint health to do it first thing in the morning and then do it before you go to bed.
Got it. All right. So, and once again, guys, going back to joint by joint approach, right? You've got stable joints versus mobile joints, right? So as he's going through that, keep that in mind. So you go from the neck to where?
So then we're just going to go to our back, and I'll go to a front view. So all we're thinking is my hips stay still, and I'm moving just my upper back. So the thoracic, I lean back, and I'm just kind of rolling, go to the other side, come back, and I do it again. Please hold. Just fix it.
Oh my gosh.
Are you there?
Okay, so T-spine, keep going.
Yep. So from the other view, I'm coming down, rotate as far as I can without moving my hips. Come down and coming up, and then again I'll go back and around 2 times. So again, all of ours trying to move our back in places that we haven't in a very long time to keep that joint health.
But the main key is keeping the hips stable as you're moving, and then you're rotating in the T-spine.
Yep. So I'm just here, not moving, trying not to move my hips.
Yeah, keeping the hips stable, rotating the T-spine.
I could still rotate through, but we're just trying to get all those little joints that we have to start moving.
Got it. Going back to the name of the cert, functional range conditioning, right? You're finding those ranges and you're being able to move within the space. Okay, so from there, I think elbows was the next one.
Yep, so elbows, I'm just holding up here. A lot of this stuff too, guys, if you've done HKC, Dan John has put it in some of his warm-ups as well for wrist and elbows. But the elbow is just palms towards you, rotate them, and I'm coming up. Pretty simple. Nothing like earth-shattering with this stuff, but it's very, very helpful. So elbows.
So from there, wrist.
Yeah, so wrist. And on the wrist, he talked a lot about actually having that mobility, because he says we just want to throw everybody down on the ground and have them do bear crawls, but we never even look at their wrist mobility, which is kind of an eye-opening thing for me. I just thought it was pretty assumed that everybody has wrist mobility, and turns out they don't. So
no, and it's very, you know, and he's right. You know, you look at, you know, just a kind of side note on that, you know, if you watch people in bear crawls or even in push-up positions, you know, they have a hard time, you know, getting that flexibility to be able to get into those proper positions, and it throws off everything else. So no, this is a fairly good point on wrist mobility.
So on this one, I don't have the best wrist mobility, but the idea is to keep your palm as flat as you can. And I'm just gonna rotate to my pinky side first, as far as I can, come back, and then I'm gonna go to my thumb side. And you won't have as much range there.
Can you show it from the front, facing the camera?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not very flat. I should be more flat, but. So
okay.
I'm just going side to side. So little to the pinky.
Okay. So that's wrist. Okay. So then from there, we're going shoulders.
Yes. And I have very bad shoulder mobility. So this is one of my favorite ones. So again, I'm standing. They talk about just having a good, soft, strong base, having some tension. So I'm gonna start with my right hand. Left hand, I'm gonna make a fist. Right hand, you're gonna come straight up. Then I wanna rotate my palm out. And I wanna cut this corner back here as close as I can. And then I'm gonna end with my hand outside. So from this angle, now I gotta go straight back till I hit a wall, so I can't go anymore. And then I start rotating all the way back. So again, from this angle, I want to come up. Once I stop.
So are you trying to keep the shoulder set down, or are you allowing the shoulder to come up by the ears?
Yeah, so I don't want this. We're not looking for that.
Okay. So you're setting your scap back down as you're going.
Yep. So as I'm here, I gotta stop here. Palm goes out and trying to cut this corner. Now, what would be ideal for this is, like I say, if I could stand against the wall, you know, and have my arm just an inch away from it, and come up and rotate without moving. As you can clearly see, I have to move to get around it. So a good healthy shoulder would be, I could just stay here and move through all these ranges of motion to have a good healthy shoulder. So they're saying, you know, limitation, once I'm here, I'm really, really bad. So as we all know, if I do anything overhead, it's more dangerous for me because I don't have the shoulder mobility. So this is a really good one.
Got it.
Especially for all my males on the call that don't have the shoulder mobility, it's good for us.
Perfect. Okay, so from there you've got hips, knees, ankles, all lower body.
Yep. Hips. So you can either stand holding something or not. I'm gonna go raise my right leg up, trying to keep this as high as I can. I'm gonna peel this open, trying to maintain that same line. This goes down, my knee goes down, I go back and come up or go down. So then you kick back, trying to keep your leg at a 90 the whole entire time. And you're gonna do that 2 times. Also on the other leg at the same time.
So you're going into a hip flexion, you're keeping the same plane, rotating out, you rock the foot back at the top of the motion, heel kick back, and then reverse it.
Yep. So from this angle, I'm here, I'll open,
maintaining it, kick the foot back,
rotate,
bring the knee.
and then
Got it.
kinda
So you're just
kick
getting
back.
that full range, that full open. Yeah, you're kind of combining a bird dog and a hip opener and all that good stuff. Okay.
Yes. So again, also, if they need to, or you could stand up against and hold on to something. Also, you could think about taking a tennis ball and having even yourself, tennis ball holding it, and can I go through all of those? And again, you're trying not to arch
Yeah, you're
back,
not. Yeah. And that's where, like on that shoulder one, guys, going back to the shoulder, that's why he's using the wall, is because that's a very easy indicator. If you're having to move and shift other body parts to get in the range of motion, you don't have the range of motion, right? So that's, a huge thing is to use external things to help you have an understanding of where your ranges are or are not.
Yeah, so this also for me, it was a big eye opener to see, because I thought I had some good hip mobility and ankle, and they humbled me very quickly, just to put you in different planes of motion to show what your hips are really doing. So it's actually really, really good. So it is quite
awesome.
Expensive.
Okay, wait. So let's stay on. So knee and ankle.
Jesse. Okay.
Let's go with knee.
So, knee, as I come out, I want to lock my leg out, and then a slight bend. I'm not moving my hip here. So we're thinking all this in the knee, and I'm going to move just to my pinky toe. Just going to move it out. My heel goes to my knee. Then I rotate and I come back out. So
it's a knee extension and then a knee flexion to the opposite knee on a rotation. So it's knee extension. Yep. Do we care where the foot is as far as dorsal or plantar flex, or does it matter?
No, we're trying to get more of the movement just through in the knee. We'll do it. They can't
through the knee capsules.
Yeah, he just calls it stuff. All this stuff here.
Got it. So
this is all that he did when Dr. Sapina at the beginning of our conversation had his knee surgery. As soon as he got out of it, he started trying to do
doing his cars.
Yeah.
So from there, the last one is ankle.
Yep. So locking the knee out here. And then I'm just trying to make big circles with my big toe. And then you can rotate through.
So you're circle both ways, circle front, circle back. Got it. So it sounds like, oh, go ahead, Nick.
Do you just want to go over real quick thing that you can do that in all different positions, just like we do our movements, like how you can be in quadrupt or tall kneeling and all that?
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Which
So much enthusiasm. So what he's saying is, and we don't have to go through all of them, but what he's saying is essentially you can do a lot of these movements in different positions, correct? Quadruped,
yeah, so
tall kneeling, half kneeling.
yeah,
So give us an example or two of that.
Okay, so quadruped, I can be down here. I can still do my hip, try to come up, trying not to compensate, but you'll clearly see me compensating. So I'm up, I'm going back, and I'm trying to.
This is where some of your dirty dogs, your fire hydrants, where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah, so if you guys were with us, or Todd Durkin talks a lot about in his book about joint health, and he does a lot of this stuff. And CFSC does, but they dive, this is more, they dive into it a lot more. So it's kind of stuff that, we've already been doing, but the importance of our joint health and how much it's going to affect everything. So that was like for your hip.
Yeah. For
your shoulder, same thing. I'm going to come out as far as I can, rotate, come all the way through, and here, hit your roadblock, and going through those same cards, different.
So one part on that thing that's important is, one reason why we get people in these different positions. So to kind of give a little bit more backstory on at the beginning of this, basically with this cert, a lot of this is where Dan John, Mike Boyle, some of these guys are getting their information from, and so we just went straight to the source, right? So, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially that's how I'm understanding it. And so that's where a lot of this stuff, that we're already currently doing, bird dogs, with shoulder extension, flexion, all that good stuff. You've got your dirty dogs, your hip mobility stuff. We haven't done a ton of stuff with wrists, but a lot of this stuff is things, we're currently doing versions of in the club. Is that an accurate statement, Dane? Nick?
That was perfect. Everyone so far from our mentors have gotten a lot of stuff from the, because it just dives into it a lot more heavily. And so, that's a perfect example.
I'm going to share one more time, guys. We're going to share this page when I send the link. But going back to, kind of what we talked about, kind of recapping, the difference between flexibility and mobility. Mobility is able to have control of the joint and of the movement, right? And that joint strength and doing those cars, right? He went through the neck, back, elbow, wrist, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, right? Fairly simple stuff, fairly quick stuff. Helping, range of motion, longevity. And the funny thing is these guys were talking about how at the CERT, there were people there that were trying to do these cool things because they've seen some of their staff members do, some pretty neat acrobatic things, and, because they have this strength in these different ranges of motion, and the guy was basically saying, that's not the point. The point is to create, a healthy body, and taking that joint by joint approach, and not necessarily trying to, this isn't the sexy stuff, but it can lead to those types of things, and little small changes, little incremental things on a daily basis get big results. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is, going off what RJ was saying, is if I have my arm out here and someone's pushing down on it, I could be pretty strong here. But if I move up 15 degrees, I'm not that strong as I keep going up and up. And so he's saying, through every angle that we have, this should be strong. So it doesn't matter what angle you're currently at, but nobody trains at this angle, nobody trains at this angle. And so it's and that's what's going to prevent injury, essentially. So you were correct.
Yeah, no, exactly. So does anybody have any questions, concerns, comments?
Rude remarks?
Rude remarks? No, nothing? Okay. All right, guys. I think this was 23 or 24. I'm not even sure anymore. Coaches coaching, staying sharp with an E at the end. Don't forget it.